Okay, a very good morning, all of you. First of all, congratulations to all of you for taking the first step, day one challenge of this 21-day challenge. Congratulations, because this first step signifies the fact that you're all determined to make this a 5 a.m., waking up at 5 a.m., starting your day at 5 a.m. a habit. First, we'll have the objectives of this session very brief, and then we'll move on to our general discussion as well as academic discussion. So as we discussed previously in the last session, that is Sunday, when you want to form any habit, any good habit, it takes at least 3 weeks or 21 days as per the evidence we have in the form of scientific literature. To transfer any activity from a conscious to subconscious level, to make it into a habit, it requires at least 3 weeks or 21 days. So that's the reason why we started this 21-day challenge. And why 5 a.m.? So as we already discussed previously, 5 a.m. is the time where you have maximum concentration potential. You'll have maximum time for yourself, you'll have least distractions, and you can invest and harness this time to progress personally as well as professionally, right? So that's the reason why we started with this 21-day challenge, 5 a.m. club. So as I said, congratulations to all of you on taking the first step. I know it's very hard. I know it's very challenging to those who have no habit of waking up early in the morning. So that's the reason why. Well done, congratulations on taking the first step, the most important step. From here on, we can just move along, maintain this momentum without any doubt, right? So this is the objective of this 21-day challenge 5 a.m. club. Now we'll move on to the first part of this live session, where we'll have some general discussion, and then we'll move on to the academic part of this live. We'll have a presentation, right? And then we'll conclude the session in 20 to 30 minutes maximum, so that you can make use of your time for other planned activities based on your convenience and availability of resources, right? I hope everything is audible now. And if not, yes, of course, I can repeat again. Yeah, it's perfect to hear that. It's loud and clear. You know what? In fact, this happened a couple of times prior. I spoke almost non-stop for 15-20 minutes previously. And then I've gone through the comment section where I've seen there is no audio. You know, it's a very devastating news. It's a very terrible news. You speak, just imagine, you speak to someone as if they were listening, but only to know the fact that there is no audio. It's a very, very bad news, that too early in the morning. But anyways, I'm glad I checked your messages within 5 minutes and could overcome this issue. And by the way, those who are attending this live session, brushing your teeth is mandatory. If not, of course, you can brush now. Who is watching you? I mean, if I start brushing, it would be a problem. But for you, of course, you can brush now, at least now. I know most of you said you brushed your teeth, and I know it's not a fact, but I can't disagree. Okay, so 21-day challenge, day one. So this is how the usual reaction is on day one, right? In most of the situations, in most of your situations. So sleepy, drowsy, it must be very difficult for you. But by 21st day, we're going to do some magic and then bring out this output. Okay? Or is this your case right now on day one? Let's see. So today we'll have, in the first part, we'll have some general discussion quickly, and then we'll move on to the academic part. So this is something which is related to our mistakes, right? The mistakes which we commit in the process of preparation or in the process of life journey. It can be generalized as well. So let's review some literature, which is from Psychocybernetics, right, by Maxwell Maltz. So you can go through this as I'll be reading out this text, and then you can follow as per your convenience. Our errors, mistakes, failures, and sometimes even our humiliations were necessary steps in the learning process. I'm not sure how many would agree with this, but that's how we start learning. However, they were meant to be means to an end and not an end in themselves. When they have served their purpose, they should be forgotten. If we consciously dwell upon the error or consciously feel guilty about the error and keep berating ourselves because of it, then unwittingly, in fact, unfortunately, the error or failure itself becomes the goal, which is consciously held in imagination and memory, which happens in most of the cases. Even in my case, I've experienced it. I've seen several aspirants experiencing this. Just imagining the past failures continuously, constantly, consistently. The unhappiest of mortals is that a man or woman who insists upon reliving in past over and over in imagination, continually criticizing himself for past mistakes, continually condemning himself for his or her past sins, continually criticizing yourself for past mistakes and errors does not help matters, but on the other hand, tends to perpetuate the very behavior you would change. Memories of past failures can adversely affect the present performance if we dwell upon them and foolishly conclude, I failed yesterday, therefore it follows that I will fail again today. However, this does not prove that unconscious reaction patterns have any part in themselves to repeat and perpetuate themselves, or that all buried memories of failure must be eradicated before behavior can be changed. If we are victimized, it's by our conscious thought, conscious thinking mind, and not by the unconscious. For it is with the thinking part of our personality that we draw conclusions and select the goal images that we shall concentrate upon. And the minute that we change our minds and stop giving part to the past with its mistakes loses power over us. It cannot be more true. So we'll just have a summary of this for your convenience again. So I know this literature might take time to get into us because we need to correlate that with our practical experiences as well. The point is very simple. Most of us, unfortunately, unwittingly, we live in our past bad memories. We have these wonderful faculties of imagination and memory, right? And we're using it only to keep negative things in our mind. In fact, those negative things are essential in the part of our journey to correct our course and not to repeat them. And they should be consciously forgotten. However, we are just reliving in past bad memories, and then we're worrying about future because we assume that the end result is going to be a negative. So this can be overcome by conscious efforts. It has nothing to do with subconscious. So through conscious effort, by constantly feeding positive stimuli in the form of thoughts, in the form of actions, we can overcome this. And then, of course, stay happy. And, at the end, as mentioned in the literature, if we change our mind, if we change our thoughts, we can remain happy and successful. So it's all a choice. When I say through conscious effort, it's through choice. If I want to be happy, I will be happy. I can be happy. If you want to be happy and successful, you can be happy and successful. So it's your choice. So if you make the right choice, of course, you will remain happy and successful regardless of these external situations or challenges, right? So with that introductory part, now let's move into the academic part of this live session 5am Club. And before I go into that, let me ask you this question. Through vaccination, we could eradicate smallpox from the world. WHO declared the same, and we discussed this previously also. Can you name any other disease that has been eradicated in total from the face of the earth using vaccination? Only disease to be eradicated after smallpox through vaccination. Can you name that disease? In fact, I'll give you a hint. We shared this information in the recent debate session. We didn't have any debate, but I shared some materials, if you remember, to some of you who were willing to participate in debate. So you can find the answer to this question over there. So any idea? Only disease other than smallpox to be eradicated in the face of the earth using vaccination. Please don't Google. I know it's difficult to Google early in the morning because you have to open your eyes. At least for this live session, you can use your ears. I wish it were polio, but unfortunately, polio is still prevalent in some parts of the world. It's still there. Polio is still there. It's not completely eradicated. WHO. These are the facts which are available from WHO website. Okay, well tried. Good, well tried. But it's not polio. So we'll review some literature and try to find this interesting information. Also, a whole lot of interesting information related to vaccination. We'll have some literature review. Okay, in the process, we'll also try to find out the answer to this particular question. Hi, those who are joining us late, a very good morning. I really appreciate your enthusiasm. I'll use a highlighter to highlight various important points. Of course, that's the purpose of highlighter, right? So this particular literature is from the following article. As you can see, essays in Biochemistry Journal, published in 2016. The name of the article is Immune System by Lindsay B. Nicholson. So let's review some information. I hope you can go through you can see the text, right? Okay, so vaccination. In 2014, the CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in US, published an estimate of the impact of their national vaccination program over the previous 20 years. Vaccination, we have something called as memory of immune system, which is very interesting. In fact, this vaccination will help not just us in our entire lifetime to protect ourselves from diseases, but also the upcoming generations because or thanks to this vaccination memory. So let's review some information. So in 2014, CDC, I think you guys are able to see, CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention in USA, published an estimate of the impact of their national vaccination program over the previous 20 years. They concluded that over a lifetime of the immunized individuals, that there would be 21 million fewer hospitalizations and 732,000 fewer deaths. The success of vaccination is rarely emphasized in media coverage, but it's an enormous and cost-effective benefit. Vaccination as a public health strategy to harness the immune response predates by at least a century acceptance of germ theory of disease, which provides a mechanistic understanding of why it is effective. It has a crucial and continuing role in fight against both ancient as well as emerging infections. Did you observe this point? It's not just the emerging infections like corona or COVID or any other new infections, but also ancient infections. Right? Even if there is smallpox now, of course, our immune system will be able to battle it because of this potential of memory of immune system, which is very interesting. The most notorious disease against which vaccination has been applied is smallpox. The scourge among humans since at least 1100 years BC, it was a terrifying condition transmitted through air. Like COVID, which killed I mean, of course, this is through respiratory droplets. So this smallpox killed 20 to 30% of individuals who became infected and left the survivors severely disfigured by scarring. Among naive populations, that is, those which had never encountered the infection, it was even more deadly. In 1738, the smallpox killed half of all the Cherokee Indians in USA. Vaccination against smallpox was pioneered by Edward Jenner in 18th century, and in 1958, WHO adopted a resolution to attempt global eradication. The disease was cornered by a combination of vaccination, surveillance, and containment of epidemic hotspots. Factors that helped successful eradication included that humans played an essential role in the life cycle of virus, that there were no natural reservoir in animal kingdom, and that smallpox did not establish a carrier state in which symptomless individuals were contagious. As progress reducing smallpox outbreaks continued and the number of victims fell, the WHO optimized a strategy of tracing and vaccinating contacts, working out from the patient to contain the disease. Through dedicated work of many individuals, the world was certified free of smallpox in 1979. This great success has been challenging to replicate with other diseases, and to date, the only other infection, this is what I've asked you, the only other infection to be exterminated entirely from the wild by vaccination is rinderpest. Rinderpest. This was caused by a virus related to measles, which affected cattle and had a mortality approaching 100% in non-immune populations. Right? Now you have the answer. Local eradication of other diseases through vaccination has proved possible. You mentioned about polio, right? Unfortunately, polio has also been eradicated in almost all countries thanks to vaccination. Almost all, but not the entire world. Right? Following a program in Finland starting in 1982, measles, mumps, and rubella (MMR) were eliminated from the indigenous population between 1996 and 1997. Maintaining this freedom from disease remains an ongoing challenge. And as the immunity of population wanes and memory of how dangerous these illnesses were fading, uptake of vaccination falls. But these viruses continue to circulate in other countries from which they could be reintroduced to a now susceptible population. Vaccination works by immunizing individuals with a safe version of the infectious agent, as you know. And this is to educate the immune system without causing severe illness. You know, attenuated forms, right? Even live forms, which are used in case of polio. Some vaccines, for example, that for polio use weakened or attenuated strains of live virus. For other conditions, heat kill preparations may be preferred, or vaccine may contain recombinant proteins that have been synthesized and purified from cell culture. Vaccines are remarkably safe, but each new vaccine is unique, and occasional unanticipated complications do occur, as we have been hearing in news 24/7. Where these are common, they will be detected early in clinical trials, but if they are rare, they will only become evident after. Yes, someone answered this question. Interesting. Yeah, but if they are rare, they'll become only evident after millions of doses of vaccine have been given. This might send some jitters, but that's how science is, trial and error. So these rare outcomes are impossible to predict and must be identified by monitoring the vaccinated. Such complications do less damage than the diseases that they are a protection from when these infections are at large. But as the illness themselves becomes rarer, the benefits that vaccination produces becomes more difficult to appreciate. So the point is very simple. Even though there are some unpredicted side effects or secondary effects associated with vaccination, only if benefits outweigh these effects, we go for vaccination. So disease, definitely we don't want disease, right? So it's better to get vaccinated depending upon the circumstances. And devising vaccines for new infections is not straightforward. It is instructive to set against the astonishing success that is eradication of smallpox, the failure to date to discover a vaccine of similar efficacy that is effective against malaria or HIV. In fact, we should say this article is from 2016, and we must say this is a tremendous success, vaccination in terms of trying to eradicate COVID-19. Sometimes it takes 20 years or even 30 years, and still we can't find a vaccine. But, thanks to this research and development, and thanks to the efforts of scientists, healthcare workers, we are able to devise numerous types of vaccines with more than 70 or 80% efficacy against COVID-19 in such a short time, which is, of course, a remarkable success. I see it as a remarkable success after smallpox. So this does not reflect a lack of effort if you don't find a vaccine, but does illustrate that our ability to harness and manipulate the immune response remains limited. Example, malaria or HIV. So there is still much to learn, right? So this is something which I felt really very interested, because it has this general meaning, general message, along with academic or subject related message. So I hope you enjoyed the read. And also, if you have any further queries or need any further clarifications, or you want to access that material, of course, feel free to get back to me, right? So now you know the answer. The only other infection other than smallpox to be completely wiped out on the face of the earth using vaccination, rinderpest, right? So these are the two aspects which I wanted to highlight. And I hope you enjoyed this session. And as I said, I know it's a huge challenge to wake up early in the morning, attend a session or a class, keeping your eyes open. It's a tremendous challenge. And you've done it successfully. So once again, congratulations on taking the first step, right? So this is day one. So every day till 21st day, we'll have a 5 a.m. session. We'll discuss lots and lots of general topics as well as academic topics. And we'll harness the potential of this 5 a.m., right? There is magic in air. There is magic everywhere, including right here. Okay? So your feedback is always welcome. And if you have any further queries or clarification, feel free to get back through mail 24/7 at proudtobedentist@gmail.com. So wish you all the best. Have a fantastic day ahead. I'll see you again tomorrow at 5 a.m. sharp. Right? So those who haven't brushed their teeth, at least now, please brush your teeth. Because brushing your teeth brings that sense of freshness, and you no longer crave to sleep. And also we'll share more tips on how to minimize your sleep and maximize your potential to wake up early in the morning in the form of a post. I'll give you more updates in Telegram as well as YouTube channel. Right? Yeah, take care. And also before I conclude, consider this very, very important, since most of you, this could be the first time or first day. So you might find or you might feel sleepy. Do not sleep now. At least try involving or engaging yourself in some activity for at least 1 to 2 hours. And then if you really feel sleepy or drowsy, you can have a 20 to 30 minute power nap or a maximum 40-minute nap at around 10:30 a.m. and then carry on with your day as usual, right? And usually don't prefer sleeping in afternoon, because if you sleep in the noon time, power nap is fine, 20 minutes is fine. But if you sleep for more time, again, you will not have the desire to sleep early during the night. So just keep this in mind and then carry on accordingly.